Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Steph, and welcome back to my YouTube channel where every week I share with you tips on how to get fit and get paid freelancing. Make sure you give a little tap on that subscribe button below to stay up to date on when new videos are released each week. Now, today's video is a get fit video, and I'm going to teach you guys all about reverse dieting. So stay tuned for that. And if you haven't yet watched the last get fit video, go check it out here, as I'm sure you're going to love that one too. Alright, so today's topic is all about reverse dieting. I'm going to teach you guys exactly what you need to do if you've been on a diet for quite a while and it's now time for you to get those calories back up, but you want to avoid gaining body fat too quickly during this process. So make sure you watch till the end, because every single tip here is going to be needed in order for you to feel really great and amazing still, even at the end of your reverse diet. I want to preface today's video by saying that most people that do the reverse dieting have been in a little bit more of a strict diet process, whether that was for a bikini competition, fitness competition, something athletic related, like getting ready for some sort of show, competition, race, whatever that may be. Most people who do that then do a very strict, more strategized reverse diet process. So this video is probably more so tailored to people who are in those phases of their physique, okay? Those phases where it's like, all right, I'm here, I want to go to a strict fat loss phase, lean out, and now I want to reverse diet and get back to a maintenance or bulking building phase. It's the people that have a little bit more strategy with their overall physique changes on a yearly basis. For most of us, I'm saying, like me included, like most people, we're kind of just like right about here throughout the year, right? Most of us are just kind of in this usual maintenance phase. Maybe we want to lose a few pounds here and there, but we really don't need to have too much strategy, too many drastic changes, because we're kind of gliding it around the same body weight, same body fat percentage, just kind of maintaining most of the year. For people like that, people like myself, you really don't need too much strategy, too much reverse dieting, because you're never making much of a cut in the first place. So this video is really for the people who are making very drastic caloric cuts, meaning they're making very drastic changes to their diet, in which you're dropping not just a few hundred calories, but 500 or more calories in your diet to lose body fat quicker, or maybe you're making a much more drastic change to your workout volume. This video is for those of you who are doing that, who have made a really large cut with calories, have seen great results with your fat loss, and now are ready to get those calories back up to that maintenance level. And you have a long ways to go. It's not just 100 or 200 calories to get back to maintenance. It's just like, you've got a long ways to go. So instead of just immediately adding 500 calories and then most likely gaining body fat pretty quickly, you want to have a little bit more strategy in place. All right, so that's who this video is for. Now let's get on to the topic of reverse dieting. Real quick before I do that, if you're someone who just adds those calories back in very quickly, it's likely you might just experience some things like body dysmorphia, a lot of huge hormonal changes, even maybe some eating disorders, because it's like you went from being so strict with food and then all of a sudden you're just allowing everything back into your diet with no strategy in place. So I do encourage you to have a little bit more strategy in place to try and avoid some of those negative things. So a reverse dieting plan. Here's what you should plan for. At least the next 4 weeks after you've done a big cut, you want to consider not losing any more weight. Right? You've lost enough weight. It's now time to have the goal of just maintaining weight. So get into that mindset of being like, all right, weight loss phase is done and it's now time to maintain without gaining back too quickly. So today we're going to talk about your nutrition and your training and how you can reverse both of those things back up. So let's talk about nutrition first. After you've been in this long cut phase, it's time to slowly increase those calories, right? Start slowly bringing the calories back up to a healthy place. If you've been on a meal plan for several months, then you'll be left feeling maybe a little more confused because it's like, how do I make a new meal plan that's a few hundred calories extra? And then a few weeks later, a few hundred calories extra. I'm not a huge fan of meal plans because you're always having to adjust them, and it's really annoying to have to go through and calculate over and over, and it's really annoying to have to eat the same foods every day. I just don't like them. So essentially, you want to slowly add in some calories, right? And then you sit, you follow that plan, and you reassess 2 weeks later and see how you're doing to see if you can keep adding more calories. Add some things like some apples, bananas, some whole grain toast, some nuts, for example. Just adding in 1 to 2 extra servings of a few of those healthier things may bring a little bit more variety back into your diet to help with digestion and stuff. And it's just an easy way to just know that, hey, I'm gonna add in 200 extra calories, so this banana and these nuts will do it, so I'm just gonna add that into my meal plan each day. That's easy, right? But if you're someone who is counting macros, counting calories, then I recommend that you add about 200 to 250 calories right away, mostly of fats and carbs. If you had a coach or you were doing your own macros, your protein should never have dropped much. Protein should always remain within that higher recommended range, especially if you're an active individual, which is 0.73 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. It should have stayed there even in your cut, okay? So after your cut, reverse diet process, protein should stay the same. So you wanna add in carbs and fats, and you wanna add in about 200, 250 calories worth of carbs and fats, and whatever you prefer really. Make sure your fats are higher than about 25% of your total calories to ensure good hormonal health. But besides that, it's really up to you where you added in carbs or fats or a little bit of both, depending on your preference and what sort of foods you enjoy the most. All right, so that's the general rule of thumb when it comes to nutrition. Right after your big cut, add in about 200, 250 calories, and then eat that much for about 2 weeks. Once the 2 weeks is done, you reassess and you see how your body handled it. How did your progress pictures change? How did your body weight change? How did your inches change? How are clothes fitting? How do you feel? How is your strength in the gym? Look at the big picture of how your body is handling these extra calories. And if you've only gained a pound or less, then you're probably good to keep adding more calories. And I would add about 75 to 100 calories every 2 weeks from there, as long as your body is handling those extra calories well and you're not gaining too quickly. The rate at which you're gaining, I'm not gonna give you a calculation. It's really based on what you're comfortable with. Personally, I wouldn't wanna gain more than a pound every 2 weeks if I was in my reverse diet. So that would be my goal, is to keep that gain under a pound every 2 weeks. If there was a week where I gained 2 pounds and I'm reassessing and I'm like, dang, I put on 2 pounds, then hold calories steady. Don't increase them, keep them the same for another 2 weeks, and then reassess. Only add more calories every 2 weeks if your body is really handling those extra calories well and you're not gaining back body fat too quickly for you, based on your personal preference. How long you do that, it really just kind of depends on how you're feeling. If you're feeling satiated and like you're getting in enough food, and where you get to the point where you're happy with your physique and how much you're eating. So you want to keep going until you have gotten to the point where you can no longer add calories because you're just gaining every single time. Then you know you've hit that maintenance level. Maintenance level calories is basically the amount of calories that you can eat to just about roughly maintain your body weight, right? So that's your goal after your cut, is to reverse diet your calories back up to the point where you're at this maintenance level and you can easily maintain weight continuously eating that amount of calories. Unless, of course, your goal is to go even beyond that and increase calories even more to go to a bulking or a building phase, then you do want to be in a calorie surplus, and you will most likely be gaining a little bit more body fat while also putting on muscle during that phase. But ultimately, for most people that are watching this, if you want to reverse diet, keep going until you hit those maintenance calories. And maintaining weight is really easy. You feel satiated, you don't feel hungry anymore, and that's probably the point where you can stop. Reverse diet is over and you can maintain from there. Now let's shift focus and talk about your training or workout routine. Yes, you can reverse with your workouts, right? Reverse dieting and also reverse working out, because most likely when you were in your strict fat loss phase for whatever you were prepping for, you were probably adding in more and more physical activity. Maybe you were working out more frequently each week. Maybe your workouts were longer. Maybe you had more volume in those workouts. Maybe you had added cardio and increased how frequent you were doing cardio or the intensity of it, right? So most likely during this fat loss phase, you were doing a lot more exercise than you would like to be doing on a normal, regular basis consistently for years and years, right? So instead of just going from working out 6 days a week for an hour and a half to 3 days a week for an hour, that's a pretty big drop, right? Making that such a drastic drop in exercise is going to be a drastic drop in how many calories you're burning each day. And so now it's kind of tough to do this reverse diet with your nutrition when there's a huge change with your workout routine, right? So you want your workout routine to also be reversed. Let me do this big picture here, okay? So you started your fat loss phase, you decreased calories, and you probably increased how much you worked out, right? Now, as you do the reverse diet and reverse workout process, you're probably slowly increasing calories and decreasing how much you work out, right? So we want to get back to this level amount that feels good for you. Your body feels good, your mind feels good, you feel supported, you feel satiated, and you don't feel overworked and over-exercised, right? So the calories are coming up and the workouts volume and frequency is coming down, but slowly. So what is the strategy to slowly reduce how much you're working out in a way that's not too drastic of a change and drop in energy expenditure? So let's talk cardio first. If you were doing zero cardio in your maintenance phase, and then in your fat loss phase, you were doing cardio 5 days a week, I would drop that down to just like 3 days a week. So from 5 days a week to just 3 days a week, and try it out for a few weeks, okay? And then over time, you could drop to 2 days a week. Over time, you could drop to 1 day a week, and eventually to 0 again, right? So instead of just going from 5 days a week of cardio to 0, spread it out over the next few months. Most people's reverse diet, reverse workout phase typically lasts 3 to 6 months. It varies by person. So over the next few months, slowly drop from 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1 to 0 if that's your goal, all right? Same thing goes with strength training. If you were strength training typically 3 days a week, but during your fat loss phase, you strength train 6 days a week, we'll slowly drop it back down. Drop to 5 days a week, then 4 days a week, and then 3 if that's your goal to be there. Of course, always prioritize strength training over cardio. So if you are someone who just wants to kind of be in this maintenance phase or maybe put on a little muscle or even do some body recomp, then strength training should be prioritized over cardio always. For most people and most women, I recommend strength training about 3 to 5 days per week. All right, unless you're getting ready for a bikini show, then maybe even 6 makes sense, but most people 3 to 5 days a week is a good strength training frequency for about 45 minutes to an hour. That's realistic, that's sustainable long term, that's gonna be a healthy amount to do, that's not too much and gonna lead you to be more injury prone, right? So when it comes to reverse dieting but reverse working out, slowly decrease the frequency of your workouts, and you can also slowly decrease the duration or how long you are doing those, as well as the intensity, right? There's no specific calculated process for these things. Let's not overcomplicate things. Let's keep it simple, all right? Keep things simple. Slowly increase calories, slowly decrease workout volume till you get to this balanced level that feels good for you. I can't tell you what's gonna feel good for you. You've really gotta just kind of feel out what amount of calories makes me feel good. What amount of workouts makes me feel good, all right? And so that's where it comes into, some of this is an experimentation process. You try something out, 2 weeks later you reassess and you adjust the program. You try it out. 2 weeks later you reassess and you adjust the program again. So it's kind of an experiment. I get that from my PT, physical therapy mindset. It's like, you know, you try something, test it, treat it, retest it, treat it, retest it, right? So if you're someone who feels like this reverse dieting process just sounds a little too confusing, well, just try and keep it simple. Try things out, reassess after 2 weeks, and then adjust things, all right? And if you need a little bit of guidance with that, I'm happy to help you. You guys, I'm super experienced with helping bikini competitors specifically, or just any women who have been in this fat loss phase for a while, get from there back up to feeling back to normal, healthy, strong, nourished, and not burnt out from all the exercise, right? So if you are interested in some online coaching with me, health coaching that includes not just training and nutrition, but also mindset work, work to improve your metabolism, all of that is included in the Fit by Design method with me. We'll get to know each other. I'll help you with this entire reverse diet process, as I've helped hundreds of other women do the same thing, and we'll get you feeling amazing in your skin and also healthy again. The reason I include this mindset component is that it can be very difficult to go through a reverse dieting phase. And so having a coach that can kind of talk you through these things, shifting your mindset, shifting those limiting beliefs, helping you out of that rut when you're having a rough day, accepting this a little bit of weight gain, a little bit of body fat gain, slight changes in your physique and the way you see yourself in the mirror. It's so important that health coaches address this mindset topic, because most of them don't, but I find it super important because as women, we feel a lot. We are very much influenced by how we look and how our body feels. So if we're looking in the mirror, we're getting dressed one day and we've gained an inch around our waist, it really tears us down, right? We feel awful. We're like, oh, this doesn't fit. I'm gonna have an awful day now. It's like it ruins the rest of our lives. It seeps into the rest of our lives. We don't feel good in our own body, and we don't have that great healthy mindset about our body image and the person that we are working so hard to improve, right? It's like you're putting all this time and effort to this reverse diet, but then you're gaining weight back that you worked so hard to lose. Like, it's a very difficult process to mentally accept. And so that's why I include some mindset work in my health coaching, because it's so important. So you can learn more about Fit by Design coaching here. Check that out. Otherwise, I want to say thank you guys for watching today's YouTube video. If you found it helpful or have any questions, feel free to comment below. Make sure you subscribe to get notified when new videos come out each week. Also, if you haven't yet checked out these other videos, go check them out now, as you might really like them. And as always, peace and love.